Hello and good morning and welcome to today's webinar, Top Tips for Celebrating Care Home Open Week. My name is Natalie Ravenscroft. I am the Wellbeing Support Manager for NAPA and we are delighted to be supporting this webinar today. The National Activity Providers Association, NAPA, is a national charity and membership organisation. NAPA supports the care sector to prioritise wellbeing through the promotion of activities, arts and engagement. NAPA also provides support services that equip members with the essential knowledge, skills and resources required to provide person-centred and meaningful connections. We are delighted to be celebrating NAPA's 25th anniversary this year, and we welcome you to head over to our webpage for more information for up-and-coming events and how you can get involved with NAPA for NAPA's goal to raise £25,000 in our 25th year. Joining us today is Rebecca Woolley, Championing Social Care Director. For the past 2 years, Rebecca has worked with Care Home Open Week Committee, and Rebecca is very passionate about providing opportunities for care services to showcase their excellent work and develop year-round relationships with their neighbours. I would also like to introduce Emma Hollandby, Senior Development Officer at My Home Life England. Emma's role within My Home Life England team is to support the leadership and development programmes taking place across England and to deliver training on the Signature Care Home Friends and Neighbours programme in collaboration with NAPA. A very warm welcome to everyone to joining us today. Please do pop comments in the question box below. We would love to hear if you're planning on celebrating Care Home Open Week, what ideas you might have, if we have any questions and you feel you could support with them answers. We'd love to answer the questions towards the end. So I'm going to hand over to Rebecca, who's going to introduce what is Care Home Open Week, for those of you who might be joining us and are not too sure what the week is about. Over to you, Rebecca.
Thank you, Natalie. So Care Home Open Week this year will run from the 27th of June to the 3rd of July. And having a quick chat with Natalie before, just helpful to clarify that Care Home Open Week is almost the next iteration of Care Home Open Day. So Care Home Open Day exists in the past, it was really successful, but what we realised is lots and lots of care homes were celebrating on several days of the week, and actually calling it Care Home Open Week gave lots of flexibility and allowed people to plan different activities on different days. So Care Home Open Week is all about connecting communities. Historically, I know we've had a theme, but this year we've decided that we won't have a theme, just as coming out of the pandemic and starting to think about running these activities again. We know that's already quite complicated, so we wanted to keep it nice and simple and just really focus on what Care Home Open Week is all about, which is reaching out and connecting with your community. And the aim of the week really is to firstly to enrich the lives of residents, so to give them something that's exciting and fun to do, and for them to have something to get involved in and to meet their neighbours. But we also are trying to challenge the perception that care homes are places that are secretive and that people are very unaware of what is happening within the care home, and to really get people thinking about care for lots of reasons, maybe a career or maybe volunteering opportunities, before the point that they need care for their loved one or for themselves. So the aims of the week are to help care homes promote their facilities, activities and services. So that might be inviting potential future residents into the home or family members so they can get a sense of the environment and get to know you. But it also might be to showcase career opportunities as well. And we find that this is a great way to meet new people who might be interested in part-time work or work alongside their family or other roles they have. And also, an overarching, the bit I get most excited about is to encourage greater community engagement and volunteering. So that's looking at connections with schools, looking at working with local shops and other kind of community groups as well, making sure that your residents have really strong connections with those people within their neighbourhood. Last year, just to give you a sense of some of the things that have happened, We had some really great coverage. So sector press is really enthusiastic, but also local press. And I know we'll talk a bit about materials later, but we will have some templates for you to use and for your team to use. So not to worry too much about that. But some of the example events we had Sussex Housing and Care, who hosted a virtual choir event with 150 school children, which was amazing. That was such a big, achievement, a huge number of people.
Wow.
But we also had, in terms of, obviously last year everything was virtual, we had virtual quiz sessions with MPs where the MP was the quiz master. But what's really important to iterate is that for every home, this will be different. So each home is unique, but each community is unique as well. So for you and for your home, it may be inviting someone in for a cup of tea or a cup of coffee. It might be actually going out into the community and meeting, school children and talking to colleges and different things like that. So it's really down to the individual home. And again, we'll talk about materials in a moment, but we've put together some extra bits this year to really help with that. But yeah, nice and simple, but there's lots of things that you can do with it. So really exciting opportunity to as well. So yeah, everyone can be involved in the sector, which is also important to mention. So obviously elderly care, we're seeing more home care services getting involved. We're also seeing some children's services, which is new, which is really exciting. And again, the flexibility that we see in the event is really important there, because it is a lot about safeguarding and making sure everyone's really kind of safe. So everyone can get involved, everyone's community can get involved, and it's just about, what works for you guys.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much, Rebecca. And I think it's wonderful that you've highlighted, obviously the original National Day has been extended to include a week. So I think it removes that pressure of it being like a single day, and allows you to plan a celebration within any of that time period. And also incorporating, as you mentioned, the recruitment process, and it not just about being the main focus of connecting with your communities, but also an opportunity for employment or career progression, which is fantastic. So thank you for sharing that. Emma, why does My Home Life England support Care Home Open Week and encourage care services to become involved? Would you like to just share a little bit about that, please?
Yeah, definitely. So morning, everyone. It's really nice to be invited to take part in this, because we're kind of coming at things from the manager's perspective. And that's kind of the mainstay of My Home Life England's work, which I'll come to a bit later. So we have this focus on working with managers and also a community engagement arm. So Care Home Open Week is right up our street. But I think really it's a good kind of strategic opportunity, Care Home Open Week. And I know we sort of think of it as being a chance to be together and have, really lovely events. And obviously that is the best bit of it, the most enjoyable bit. But there is an underlying sort of strategic side to this, which is that you're inviting people in and meeting people who will play a part in the future of your care setting. They'll be the future life of your care setting, particularly if they're local. So I think Rebecca's touched on a couple of these examples, but if someone needs to find a service for their loved one day, or perhaps for themselves, if they've been in to visit you and they've met some of your staff and seen how people experience your care setting, then you're kind of first in mind. And the same is true if someone's sort of looking to volunteer, and that might not be sitting with people that live in the care setting. It could be any range of skills that they've used in their career. It's a way for them to come in and see where their skills could be useful, because it might not occur to them unless they've been in to sort of see how the actual place runs. Another example which someone shared with me recently, and I thought, oh, that's a good one, is if it's a local business, they might come to the end of their tax year and think, oh, we need to make a charitable donation to a local business. Where can we take that? And because they've met you in Care Home Open Week, you'll be forefront of their mind. And again, there's sort of one of the most pressing ones perhaps, and something we're really hearing all the time from care home managers and leaders at the moment, is the recruitment side of things. So the opportunity to invite in that next generation of health and social care workers, so that they can see what it's really like in a care setting, rather than the image that they've seen in the media over the past couple of years in particular, or perception they might have, maybe even through their own experiences or through media, of what it's like to work in care. This Care Home Open Week is an opportunity for you to say that might be the case somewhere, or you know, it's not quite that lofty here, but these are our values, and this, you know, gives you the opportunity to find the right local people that will sort of be invested in your care setting. So I think for My Home Life England, we're all about quality of life and the whole ecosystem of a care setting being those who live there and work there and visit. And Care Home Open Week is kind of a great opportunity to bring all those people together, and for it to be not too prescriptive. You know, it's just a chance to meet everyone, and, you know, coffee morning is great for that. So I think there's real strategic opportunities in Care Home Open Week, but dressed up as a lovely event, which is kind of the best way of doing it. So yeah, lots of good opportunities for this Care Home Open Week.
Fantastic, Emma. And it's really important as well, you know, that we're recognising, and My Home Life England is involved, that we're recognising the support that care home managers can bring towards Care Home Open Week. Historically, it would be mainly the activity provider who would support that day, but as Rebecca mentioned, this year, being able to think about and being creative. I mean, it's NAPA's year of creativity, so we're all about being creative this year. But thinking about that recruitment process as well, and you know, connecting with new staff members that might also have connections to the community. I know, Emma, with the Friends and Neighbours programme, that's quite a big thing there, is connecting with organisations. But just one of the questions I have is, if we're looking at, because maybe it's not an area that recruitment is something that someone might do in their main role, where kind of would we start looking for that connection? I mean, we know we can approach the schools, we know we can approach the local community centres and the brownies and scouts, but if you're thinking about maybe, oh, that's a really good idea, getting the community involved for recruitment side of things, as well as connecting with our neighbours, where would we start? Does anyone want to answer that?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the examples that I saw last year, which was really, I think, really innovative, and you can actually apply it to lots of different settings, was we had a care home who did a blue light breakfast. So they offered a free, I think it was like bacon sandwich to anybody who came to the service and got a bacon sandwich who worked in a blue light setting. So nurses, you know, paramedics, people who worked in the hospital. I think it went to kind of auxiliary staff as well, so cleaners, cooks, anyone that worked in, you know, a health and social care setting. If they came and collected a bacon balm, they gave them a leaflet which said to them, you know, we have opportunities, have you considered working with us? And obviously that's incredibly simple. It's something that isn't huge, there is some cost to it, but isn't necessarily hugely expensive in terms of job boards and things like that. And so you know, you could extend that to if you were looking for example, part-time workers, you could do something like that around mums. Like if you know, young mums came and visited the home, you could do the same thing with them. So I think there's quite a lot of sort of, you know, activities and things you can do to build on that. And I also think that one of the things that we've seen that has been really positive, I know you mentioned schools and colleges, is a lot of college-age children looking at Saturday work. So I don't know if that's something that, you know, every home has looked into, but finding kind of younger people who could come in at the weekend, we found has been really effective. One of the partnerships, and you can find out more details about this on our website actually, if you go, I think there'll be a link in the chat, yeah. But if you go to Champion Social Care website and then to the Care Home Open Week section, in the drop down there's a page on greater community engagement and volunteering. Share career opportunities, and on that page there's information about care and support jobs, which is a job board which is free during Care Home Open Week for all participating homes. So if you wanted to use that during the week, it's a free service. They're doing a lot of work at promoting it during the week. So if people see that your home is on there and you're participating, they might pop in and kind of reach out to you during the week. So that's something else that you can definitely do as well.
That's fantastic. And I think, I've just seen in the comment box, just bear with me, Melissa, thank you. We have a college student each Wednesday for the last 2 months, and she wanted experience for university. Just to jump on that as well, Melissa, historically, college students are a great way who have got work experience hours that they need to achieve and meet, not just in health and social care, but think about your music students, think about your drama students, think about your art students. Some of these students are just putting their time into go and help in a shop in the community, which is great. But can you imagine capturing the music students, and they wouldn't possibly never have thought about a career within the care sector, whether that's performing, whether that's moving on to music therapy qualification. So again, it's giving them an insight into the care sector other than being a carer or a housekeeper or admin, which is absolutely great. But there is so much more possibilities to work within the care sector. And I think highlighting that during Care Home Open Week and reaching out to your colleges and your volunteers as well, it's not just about recruitment, but it's also about reaching out to your community and going to your over 55s local group and seeing if anyone would like to come and volunteer. Go in, speak to them, or give them a leaflet if you don't feel comfortable speaking to them, and invite them to come along and see what your care service is about. And I love that idea, Rebecca, on young mums, again, with domiciliary care services, the flexibility to be able to do a couple of hours when the children are in school. It's just a great work balance, and it's about shouting about all that. So yeah, thank you very much for that, Rebecca. So we have had a question about getting involved, and we're going to answer some of that more information at the end, but there is links in the chat box if you need them. But Emma, Rebecca, you did mention about the resources. So would you like to talk a little bit more about the fabulous resource that we have co-created to support Care Home Open Week?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have been very kindly supported by NAPA this year to put together a really fantastic and helpful pack to help you plan your Care Home Open Week events. So there's some really helpful sheets on there, things like planning tools, helps with risk assessments, some event ideas. So it's really, really helpful. And we've already had some really positive feedback from that. So I would really recommend you can go onto the website and it's just under the facilities, activities and services section within the Care Home Open Week area. And you can just download that from there. It's really easy, completely free. And you can have a look. You can either print it off or you can just look at it online, but I know that I've seen some really great examples of people who've already annotated there, so it might be helpful to print it off if you've got a printer available. And then again, with the support of NAPA, we've put on this webinar. We also have another webinar next week on reaching out to schools and colleges on Tuesday. So if you head over to social media, you can have a look at that. We also have got some fantastic blogs. So if you're looking at Care Home Open Week as a small operator, for example, there's a really helpful blog on that and a very simple introduction. If you're trying to pitch the idea to your home manager or to your team to get them involved. And we also have some information on there about if you want to use Care Home Open Week to find future residents as well, so some of the activities and things that might work for that. So loads of information over there on the website. And we also do have some posters and some video advice all through the different pages, so do take a look and head over there. We'll talk about registering in a moment, but if you register, you'll also get weekly emails from us just giving you kind of tips and breaking down some of that support as well. So yeah, loads of materials that are available, and yeah, definitely take a look at the main pack because it's really packed with really helpful bits and pieces to get you started.
Sounds like quite a lot. And if you're a care home manager, obviously My Home Life England are here to help to support as well. Emma, we've popped the information in a chat box of how anyone can get in contact with My Home Life England. And if you know, just a care home manager in general, head over to there and go and have a look at their website. And similarly with NAPA, we have an abundance of resources, and if you are a member, head over into the shed where there's lots more creative ideas. If you're interested in what the NAPA membership is, please do contact us. And we also have the support service here as well if you need that, and the details again are in the chat box. So I'm just going to open, we've had a few questions come through. We're going to move to questions now, so if you do have any as I'm reading, please do pop them in. The first question we have is, do homes have to register individually on the website, or can we register all homes under our group name?
Yeah, absolutely. So when you go onto the website, you'll see there is a space to register. You can register several sites at once. So you can put in, say that you're registering, I don't know, like I think I saw in the chat that Gemma, she's registered 21 of her homes.
Fantastic.
And then what will happen if you go through that process, we'll then reach out to you and ask you to clarify the postcodes so that we can put you onto the interactive map. If you want to be super proactive, you can just email us straight away and let us know where all those sites are. But to fill out the form 21 times would take quite a lot of time. We appreciate everyone doesn't have that time. So if you just register once on the website, so we can send you through the emails and the materials and all those things, and then drop us an email with each of the addresses of the sites, we'll get you all registered and all the sites registered that way.
Fantastic, fantastic. And then we've just answered the next question, which is how do we register? I'm just looking here. We have another question. Do I have to do something every day? We have just celebrated the Jubilee and that was 4 days. I was exhausted. I can believe that. I mean, I only attended the Jubilee celebration and I've seen the wonderful work that the APs and care services have been doing for the Jubilee. So I can imagine that the thought of a week process, you know, celebration of Care Home Open Week can seem pretty daunting. Rebecca, do you just want to answer this question?
Yeah, sure. So absolutely not. So the reason that it's a week, as we mentioned at the start, is to give people flexibility. So maybe you want to do something with your local mums group and they meet on a Tuesday, or you want to, you know, do something with the local church and they only are available to come in on a Saturday. So the week gives you flexibility to be able to do an event or do an activity when it works for you. And what I'd recommend also in terms of feeling that there's so much going on at the moment is look at the things that you're already doing. Some of the activities that you already host might be appropriate to get people involved with. So, you know, if you already do, you know, like a group activity, it might just be that you can invite people to join that and to find out more about your service that way. So I think don't feel overwhelmed. There's loads to start. You can start really doing something really simple, and just review what you're already doing. And even if you did one really small activity during the week, that's really fantastic and really exciting, and yeah, that'll be great to have you involved. But don't feel the need to do something every day, because I think you would exhaust yourself and probably your residents as well.
Yeah, I can agree there. Through past practice, you know, start small. Yeah. Don't overcomplicate it. And I love the fact that Rebecca said, you know, review what you've already got on your activity program and invite people if possible. The next question I've got here is from Sharon. How do I get my home manager involved? He is always busy. In the past, it's just been a coffee morning and people coming to us. Where do I start? Emma, seeing as it's a home manager question, I'll come to you if that's okay.
Yeah, sure. So it's hard when managers are busy, because they are really busy. We're hearing that a lot across our programmes. So the first thing to emphasise is that it's time pressure. It's not lack of interest that drives that. So I think the key here is to manage your manager's time effectively. So for example, if it was a coffee morning, perhaps asking them to open it and inviting people to arrive at a start time so that they can kind of do the conversation and do the mingling and see it at its peak. And then if they have to go off, they've kind of been there and shown their face and been the face of their care setting. I think I'm also a big advocate for regular catch-ups. So get your manager invested in sort of 10-minute catch-ups every other morning in the run-up to the event, so that it's not sort of one big thing to discuss in the week of. I think it can be really hard to sort of catch someone on the hoof and then say, I've got this great idea planned, I know exactly what I'm going to do for it, you know, do you want to get involved? For that manager, it's what they're hearing is, you're great, you've got this in hand, I trust you, go for it. So I think often we get this feeling of like a manager will support in principle but not in practice, so give them really clear cues as to how you want them to get involved and how you want them to be present. And finally, I would say sort of ask them to model to other staff in the care setting how to support you, so that it's come from the top that this week is important, you know, this is what you could do to support the person that's actually facilitating the event. But, you know, we want it to be a whole home thing. We want to see everyone getting involved. And just a final thought on that one, I think if there is anything they're particularly concerned about, then you can sort of pitch it to them like that as well. So again, come back to the recruitment example because it's a good one. Perhaps asking them if it would be okay to invite in a local college group or something, and making that connection that this is a bigger picture thing. It's not just a one-off event, it's playing into a bigger, you know, challenge or a bigger thing for the care setting. So it is hard when people are really busy, but I think just that regular, this is part of something you're interested in, conversation can be really, it's a longer process.
I think that's what I'm hearing there, Emma, in that whole answer is communication is key. Yeah. You know, regular meetings with your care home manager, if you're an activity provider, even your head catering manager, head housekeeper, maintenance. I think having, whether it's not a formal meeting, but having them conversations, maybe having it written down, you know, so you both understand, or you all understand what role you're playing within your event. It is a benefit factor for all of you. So I've got two questions that are very, very similar. So Gary's just asked, I will be celebrating, but as always, it's the what ifs. We plan this and then we have to close. What can we do? And I've had another person, Chloe. Our care home is still operating under restrictions from COVID, so we still can't communally mix visitors and residents. How much will this impact us, and what can we do to get around this? This is a common question that we often get on the support line service here at NAPA and in the support Facebook group as well, and through emails. And I'm sure, Emma, you've had the same conversations with My Home Life England and similarly with Rebecca for championing this week. I think we're at the point where forward planning for Plan B, from what I'm hearing and the conversations we're having, is it's very much a virtual world, or it's an in-person situation. And in the resource that we've co-created with Championing Social Care for Care Home Open Week, we do have a section that advises you on how to do that and how to connect. And similarly, Rebecca said at the start of the webinar, you know, people were getting really creative last year through having online quizzes, you know, and you could even do, Gary and Chloe and Nancy, you could even make objects and post out to people. You know, you could send postcards. There's a wealth of things that you can do activity wise to be still connected. And as it's the year of creativity at NAPA, go international. Why not connect with someone that's over in America or over in Australia, and connect in that way. But again, if you want any more advice, then please do call the helpline service or email us, and the information is in the chat box. So I'm going to wrap up. Oh, sorry, go on, Rebecca.
Sorry, I was going to say, just to add to that, Natalie, there will be, I know I've pointed to loads of places on the website, so it sounds a bit confusing. When you go on there, it's really easy to see everything. But on one page, on the page around greater community engagement, we're actually going to be uploading over the next couple of days some bits and pieces that you can do if you can't participate physically, in addition to the virtual bit. So for example, we have a partnership with Silver Sunday, which is the National Day for Older People, and they have a postcard writing activity that they can do, so you can reach out to schools. So do keep which will be on the website very shortly, so do keep a lookout on there, because there are more things we're constantly adding as people reach out to us and are able to kind of provide more of those activities. So yeah, just keep an eye on the website, and hopefully there'll be some more things of it up there for you to do if that is the case as well.
Okay, fantastic. Well, we're coming to the end of the webinar. I was just thinking, should we do just quick round robin of 5 top tips for getting involved on the day? Rebecca, I'll start with you. You're on my left, so I'll start with you.
Sure. So I think just my first tip would be to reach out to all the support that's available. So obviously, as Natalie said, NAPA have been really kind, and they've provided us with this wonderful pack, and they've also reached out, and allowed us to use the helpline. So definitely do make the most of that opportunity as well. And my second tip would be keep an eye on the website. We're constantly uploading things. We're trying to keep it live, so as there are more opportunities and different, organisations are, offering care homes more things. We're putting them all on there. So just really make sure that you're checking back regularly, and hopefully that you can have a look there. I know there's been a couple of questions. So one from George about not receiving the pack, and I can see Lisa says, where do we get the resource pack? So it's all on our website. I can put a link onto the specific page in the chat in a moment, and you can just download everything. So just because of the size of the files, it's easiest if you just go onto the website. It's really hard to email them to you, so just go onto there and you'll be able to see all the materials that are available. My third tip would be to register, so make sure you appear on the interactive map. We really want for people in your community to know that you're participating, so they can reach out to you. So do register so you can appear on there. Number 4 would be, I know we spoke a lot about today, getting involved in schools and colleges. If you are interested in that area, then you can join the webinar we have next week as well, to get a bit more knowledge around that area. And I think my final tip would just be start somewhere. You don't need to have, and as we spoke about, you just had the Jubilee weekend. You don't need to plan something every day of the week or plan a huge party. Just reaching out and connecting with one community group or one school, or reaching out and opening one bit of the home for people to come and ask questions about the home or to meet teams. Really just nice and simple, and every year you can build on that, but just start somewhere.
Fantastic, thank you for that. Emma, do you have any quick top 5 tips?
I do, yeah. I would say start small. If you have 3 good chats, that's great. That's a successful event. Have ways to follow up on interests. Not everyone wants to commit to something there and then. They want to be able to get in touch with you once they've had a think. So have some contact details on a flyer or something. Don't wait to tell your manager. Have catch-ups now and start small. Give people specific roles so that they're not just supporting you. They know what they've got to do on the day, and you've sort of spread the load a bit and ease the stress of running an event. And ask people who they'd like to have there, so you don't have to come up with it all yourself. You might get ideas that you're not expecting from people living in your care setting about who they'd love to meet from their local community.
I love that.
Tips.
I love that. And I was just, and my 5 top tips similarly are very similar to both of what you are saying, but certainly be individually led. Okay, reach out to the individuals that you support in your care service and find out what groups they used to go to in their community, where they attended, who they would like to reach out to. Maybe they don't want children coming in, maybe they do. But don't assume. Let them lead your care home open week, because they're the ones that are going to be shouting about how fantastic their care service is and the people that support them. Be creative in your connections. As I mentioned, try reaching out to the wider world. Quite often we can feel that we're quite insular and it's just us in that care service, and it's not. There's so much more out there. Ask for support, reach out, and as both Emma and Rebecca are saying, don't try and overconnect. Start small, build on. We've been for the last 2 years not having as major events and them connections, and in some cases we need to rebuild them connections, and that's fine. So don't start big. Don't think you have to go above and beyond for celebrating something like Care Home Open Week. And keep those connections, build on them afterwards. So I just want to say thank you all for joining us today. Particular thanks to Rebecca and Emma for their time and suggestions on how you might participate in the week. As mentioned, Care Home Open Week starts from the 27th of June to the 3rd of July, and it is hosted by Championing Social Care. You can head over to their dedicated webpage. We have put the information in the chat box, and they also have a Facebook group, which you're more than welcome to come and join, and it's Care Home Open Week Community Group 2022. NAPA also has a webpage with all the information should you need to find anything, and it's under the Get Involved section. As I mentioned earlier on before, please do reach out if you need any support. The NAPA support line service is here Monday to Friday, 9 till 5. You can email or you can leave a voicemail should you need to reach out to us, and we will give you a call back. The telephone number is 0800 158 5503. But for now, we were going to say goodbye, and we look forward to seeing how you all celebrate for Care Home Open Week, and have a lovely day.